Know the theme, y'all. Welcome to the Saturday night. Welcome to the Saturday night. Slow down. Hey, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Beat Up, and we back again. Feeling good, feeling great. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta check the attire. Every single time we get in tradition for these new episodes, we gotta know, raise your cups. We here, we made it to another episode of Saturday Night Slowdown, man. And if you're new here, this series is just all about sitting down, slowing down, and reflecting. And so everything that I always end up talking about when it comes to this series, it just has to do with either community topics or it's simply what I'm experiencing in my life or what I have experienced and how it's transformed me. You know what I'm saying? And with this series, obviously I had a pilot episode and this is the first one right here. Eventually there will be guests that I'm gonna add on to this and this will eventually turn into a live stream. Y'all stay tuned for those. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be lit. But yes, the first episode, perfectly fitting in theme, it's all about reflection. A lot of people are going in this life and feeling like that they're drifting. And when you end up in a state where you start to drift, it is because you're not properly reflecting on who you are and where you want to go. A lot of times, maybe we're stuck in who we've been, and that's the only permission slip we give ourselves to live in. And so the whole point of this series is we're going to sit down, we're going to slow down, and we're going to reflect together. So we can have multiple different topics, multiple different themes, but at the end of the day, just like the Dub Club, what it stands for is doing undeniably better. That's exactly what you're going to end up having happen along the way of this series. And I appreciate every single last one of y'all that ends up, tuning in and staying here. And for those that click on, click off, it's fine because you're going to come back. And I know it. But yeah, reflection. This is honestly something I've been doing for years, but I've made it a content idea like, yo, there's plenty of people on this planet. There could be a million people on this planet that would do the same thing I'm doing right now, where they just kick back. Some people, they may have a blunt. They may have this in hand, they might just be kicking back. They just got off the game like I did. You know what I'm saying? And we finally give ourselves some time to breathe. This series will allow that. And so that's all I want to do with y'all. And so this is how I can do my intimate one-on-ones. Or, when I have my guests on, we can be intimate with the community. And we really just chop it up and talk about what's important. And with reflection, this has been the number one tool for me to help me transform myself completely. Yes, I might get to rhyming when I'm doing this. I ain't gonna waste my time when I do this, but I will make sure I rhyme when I do this. Anyways, bro, yeah, we're gonna have fun with this. But the number one thing I always end up reflecting on is how alive was I today? Did I do everything I set out to do? Did I do everything I want to do? Did I do everything I cared about doing? I will grade myself pretty much every single day when I give myself the chance to think about it. I will grade myself based on how authentic and how real I've been with myself. And in life, your riches will come from authenticity. I know that. And whether it's perceived authenticity or received authenticity, it doesn't matter. As long as you're keeping it 100 with yourself, you will take yourself everywhere you got to go. And in order to know how real you've been with yourself, you must sit down and you must reflect. You have to know who you're choosing to be at all times, because who you're choosing to be ends up being the number one most important thing you will ever decide in your life. I'm a firm knower, not believer, that your fate is sealed until you change who you are. Your fate and your identity is intertwined. And a lot of times we may get drifting in life because we aren't concise, we aren't precise about who we are. We're trying to look at others and see what we admire about them and see, is that the way I want to go? Or if it's not the way I want to go, or maybe I just want to be a bystander and just witness what other people do, you know, live vicariously through them, that can only take you so far, because you're going to eventually start comparing yourself. And the minute you start comparing yourself is the minute you start robbing yourself of what you're actually capable of being. Reflection requires you to imagine what you are, where you're going, and who you've been. The more and more you start to reflect on yourself, the more and more you start to recognize how powerful your mind really is. We are all having to give ourselves direction. We are our own saviors. This is what inspired this entire channel in the first place. It started off with me just telling story times about what was going on, but there was always a deeper context that was behind it, whether it had to do with dreams, whether it had to do with any kind of deep topic I had in mind. I always try to find a way to intertwine things, you know, that I thought was important. I was always a rich thinker, introverted or extroverted, that didn't really matter. I was always someone that did their best to think for themselves, even if it was at my detriment. Overthinking, who cares? The fact that I was thinking for myself uh, ends up being how I got here today. And so, again, with the topic, this episode being about reflection, it is so very important to give yourself some grace. When you are deciding who you are at all times, give yourself grace from your past way of being. That was who you were known to be for yourself. Once you select who you are now and you reflected on the direction that you choose, can't nobody stop you. Other people might know of you, of the past, but that doesn't control you. That doesn't limit you. At all times, we're giving ourselves the permission slips to go anywhere we want in our lives. And it's up to you to decide that it's only you that's allowed to sign this permission slip. So how often are you giving yourself the, you know, that thing I did earlier today, that shit was dope. Um, you know, I felt like I could have went deeper into that conversation, but I realized I had to, you know what I'm saying, get on about my business. Oh man, probably should have said what's up to them today. There's different things that you got to give yourself leeway on. Of course, give yourself some grace, because this is all an experience, a full, rich experience. But you can never forget where you're headed. You know, there was something that I actually been contemplating on, in how important is it for us to know where we're going. That sometimes is the most important thing you'll ever decide, because where you're going automatically sets up what you're going to do today. It automatically sets up what you're going to do tomorrow. Listen, I've already done some other content on how important identity is, but when it comes to reflection, you must know who you are, because then it makes wherever you're choosing to go inevitable. I am inevitable. Like Thanos said, I am inevitable. You'll start to recognize that the more you start to reflect, because you're going to reflect on something, you're going to get hit with an epiphany, a revelation. And the next day, you're going to get an opportunity to show what you have reflected on. See, God, our power, our awareness, our consciousness, this magic works in real time. So take heed to what you notice throughout your day. Take heed to the way you talk to yourself. Take heed to the way you notice other people interact with you, because if it ain't something that you align with, something that you prefer, you're wasting time. Choose who you are, and the rest follows. Let the dead bury the dead. Bible quote. It has to do with letting the past be the past. Let bygones be bygones. Not for their sake, but for your sake. You are no longer who you once was. The past is irrelevant unless you make it so. You are brand new in every single moment. So what are you going to do with that? Reflect tonight, reflect throughout the day. But remember, you're steering this ship. This boat that you're taking across the ocean is his body, this experience that we're living in. But how you steer where you're going is by choosing who you are. Once you decide that, remember, just like I said, where you're headed is inevitable. It's so very important to reflect on what you want most, because you want it because it's available for you. You want it because it's possible for you. It's like that yin and yang, that infinity sign. It's like something that only exists because you're capable of something. You can only want what was already yours. That's why it appears, and that's why it's something that always tugs at your heart. It doesn't have anything to do with logic. This entire world is pretty illogical. And you start to recognize that over time. But yeah, the main thing I want y'all to leave with episode 1, the key tidbit for this episode is that you must reflect on who you are. And if who you are isn't satisfactory, change that. Write it down if you must. The sooner you decide who you are and you operate from that, you will work so much magic in your life. And magic won't even feel like magic no more. It feels, I am inevitable. God says no to nobody. Only says yes. And God says yes through you. So what are you going to do with that? But as always, I got kind of deep with this one, and there will be plenty more episodes on the way. And of course, I recorded this on a Saturday. I couldn't find the other phone, and I may post it tomorrow on Sunday, but it's fine. Either way, I might even change it to Sunday night. Slowdown. I don't know. We'll see along the way. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. Sunday night slowdown. Yeah, I might as well. Welcome to the Sunday night slowdown. I appreciate every last one of y'all. It's been your boy Beat Up. And of course, I'm going to see you again. Welcome to the Dub Club, where we're doing undeniably better. And it's been your boy Beat Up. I'm out, bro.